Welcome to today's TSL podcast, Why I Love Monogamy. Now, before you guys get all your panties in a bunch about this isn't about monogamy being better than polyamory or any of that stuff, and I'm going to get to it. What it's about is the benefits and my story that come from that because I've done it. And here's the other cool thing, and this is kind of sad. I've also lived on the other side of the fence where I've really experimented with every type of relationship that I've ever wanted to for 13 years. In fact, for 13 years, I was never monogamous and ran from it. Now for almost 5 years, I've been in a great monogamous relationship, but it's not saying that it's better or worse than anything else. Now, this is the TSL podcast, which I think you should know is literally anything you want to know about sex and relationships we have here. And the reason why we have it here is because of our membership, which you should check it out. If you follow the links, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube or whatever, if you follow it to the webpage where this is hosted, where you can see the video and all this other stuff, at the bottom of that page, you can join our groups. There's a free group, the Austin Men's Development Group. You don't have to live in Austin, international. And then there's our paid groups. There's the starter. Man, $9 a month. You can get everything, tons of content, an overwhelming amount. You just don't get the coaching. If you do our excellence, you get our coaching, and it is amazing, man. 2 calls a week, Wednesday night, well, at least Austin time. Sunday all day. Sometimes that call goes for 20 hours. You know how badass it is if you're on it. And man, we have a group. We have a community. That's what it is. Men living in excellence. So don't be a guy that sits around and goes on Reddit and all this other bullshit and talks about whatever the fuck you do or your PUA forums. Be a guy that's active on making your life better. All of your life better. And if you just want to start with women and sex, you can get that. Every single guy should be having a great sexual life. And I want to make that as available as possible. For $10 a month, you can get everything you need. Literally everything you need, to start your journey on sex. You up that to the excellence, you do a lot better. But that being said, why do I love monogamy? Why do I love it? Man, well, part of it is because, and how this came about was I was just talking to a bunch of single girls at the gym, and they were hot, man, hot, beautiful women. And don't get me wrong. I am attracted to beautiful women. I am a man. I know sex. I get sex. I know what it's like to see a woman's face that I change with my dick, that I change with my sexuality. And we'll save that for many other podcasts because that's a key thing. You need to know how to have good sex. And I know, especially from what they were telling me and from what I know in my experience, that most men don't sexually satisfy them. They are begging. These women, basically what they were telling me was that, man, we're single. And yeah, it sucks to meet men. We work at like a super highline club in Austin. We work out at a gym where there's tons of hot guys. And they were like, man, there's so many hot guys here. There's football players, there's UT football players, and none of them hit on us. None of them know what to say. They say, oh yeah, you're pretty or you're hot. Or they come up to us with this like bravado, this game, and saying like, oh man, you're the sexiest girl I've ever seen. But they can't do anything afterwards. Man, and think about that. You PUAs out there, think about that bullshit. You come up with your direct game thinking that you're sexual. No, you're not. You're a front. You're a fraud. Unless you can deliver with yourself, your dick, and everything else, you're there. And so I was thinking there talking to him, and then I turned to, I was talking a little bit to my other friend that works there, and she works the desk, and she is hot. And she knows how to, she tells me about her sexuality, and it's just like, man, I wish more women thought that way. It's an attractive thing, man. It's just like, those are the kinds of women you want in your life. And it was just, we were talking about sex and being there in their 20s and what that's like and having your stimuli of men and not finding anything. And it just was like, wow, I am fucking happy that I'm in a relationship. And I'm happy that I had all those experiences with women to not have to worry about it. And see, this is the thing. When we get into monogamy, a lot of people think like, oh, well, I can't do that. It's like this discipline. It's this control. It's this thing where, God, I have to do it. And we actually have a lot of podcasts on it, like monogamy for the player and all that sort of stuff. Because a lot of times, like guys who are really good with women, more guys, you should be like that. There's a time where you've just had so much sex. You're like, God, I want to settle down. Man, I'm so sick of cheap pussy. I'm so sick of just like this hot chick getting my dick hard and then the rest of her not delivering. So it's kind of the same thing, like a man not delivering, a woman not delivering. And you just go like, I just want to settle down. That's not a reason to settle down. Okay. Nor is wanting to have kids, nor is wanting to fit into society, nor is what your beliefs about sex and relationships without experience of sex and relationships. That is not a reason to argue for monogamy. And if you want to live by that spiritual code, cool. But we're talking about the full spectrum of sex. We're talking about sex and all its different, voices and faces and all those different things. If you want to be a spiritual guy, I'm not knocking you. If you're, a Christian or a Muslim or whatever it is that is founding your beliefs and how you have sex, cool. But this podcast then totally isn't for you because we're not talking about those things. I'm talking about, those guys who are players who want to have monogamous relationships out of, feeling out of pain, basically. It's like, man, this shit's not working out with blowing through all this pussy. It's time to settle down. That may slow you down. Not a reason to commit to somebody. Not a reason to commit to somebody that isn't perfect for you. Now, I'll tell you this. I've had experience with hundreds of women, and not just having sex with them, but having relationships with hundreds of women that we did things together. We shared life together, all this sort of stuff. And in that, I know how hard it is. I know that when I am, if I'm in a relationship with a girl and I'm looking at other women going like, man, that would be so much better. Like, I'm going to go for it. Then I'm probably not, that girl's probably not the girl to settle me down, or I'm not in the right space for it, or maybe she is, but not right now, sort of thing. The thing is I never think that shit. Don't get me wrong. I get horny. Don't get me wrong. Maria, my wife, is 6 feet tall. I'm 5'8". She's got huge presence. She's a woman, man. Sometimes I look at a girl who's 5 foot. Sometimes I look at a girl who's really small. Sometimes I look at a girl she's Hispanic. Sometimes I look at a girl who's white. Sometimes I look at a girl who's black and I go, man, I want that. Sometimes I look at a girl with just a different body type and I go, God, I want that. Different breast size. God, I want different ass. I want, man, different type of pussy, because all women have different pussies, man. That's the beauty of it. A different type of orgasm that I bet she'd have. And I want that. But I never sit there and ruminate on it. I never sit there and get obsessed about it. I never sit there and go, man, my life isn't so good and I'm dissatisfied. I want this. See, this is the thing. Men, you need to, number one, experience enough with sex to be able to make this decision. So many men do not have the experience with sex and relationships, and they comment on sex and relationships, and they talk about it like they know. The pickup world, the Reddit world, all these people gossiping about what's right and wrong when it comes to your sex life, yet they haven't had a lot of those things. They haven't burned that fire. They haven't laid with many women. They haven't sat with women and know the true joy and adventure of dating multiple women at once, of living with multiple women, which is almost never good. I mean, everybody says that's great, but the benefit of that, Jesus, man, it's hard enough to live with one woman. Damn, God. But with two, oh man, it's a nightmare. It's crazy. I mean, you really have to dedicate your life to those things. You really have to make it work. You have to be a strong man. You have to be somebody who wants that and can propel that upwards. So many of us are making decisions about our sex life without experience. That is massive. Do not do that. You don't know. Get that experience. I'm sorry. I know that your great theory on the red pill or the MGTOW, whatever shit, or the pickup world, or you read a book or you're following so-and-so online and you're going like, man, they said this. No, you figure it out for yourself, which brings me to that second thing. Not only do you need experience, you make the fucking decision. You own it. You own the failure. You own the success. You stop blaming. You stop looking for a cause. You stop looking for a title or a billboard to share what you are and start owning it. You know what, man? I've created a philosophy. I've created a team. I've created a huge alumni of people that all go under the flagship of the sexual life, the TSL community. They are that. Guess what? Every single one of those motherfuckers has a brain, a heart, an ambition, a sex drive, an identity that they create themselves that is not TSL. And I want that. See, because when I start owning my life and stop seeing it as like a TSL branded form of communication or a TSL branded form of sexual escalation or sex, and we have those things. Those things are there. Those things are the social dynamics. Those things are the patterns that we work on. Those things are the agreed upon foundations that we work with. But here's the deal. Also, you can be you. Also, that you, the individual, can rise to who you are. And when you do that, what's so important, you start being able to make decisions. And this is why we have such a great community. This is why you should check it out, man. You should definitely check out our communities. Start with the Austin Men's Development Board. It's free. It is a free board. So there's some riffraff and whatever stuff on there. But man, on the paid boards, it's really awesome. But check out our communities. And the reason for that is because we do have guys that have experienced polyamory. We do have guys who've experienced the swinger lifestyle. We do have guys who have been married and have gotten divorced. There's all sorts of people that have experienced a sex life and all the dimensions of it, and it changes. Just like my life changed for 13 years, man. For 13 years, I was not monogamous. 13 years. Almost that whole time, I always had a girlfriend. I always had a main girl. Man, that's a lot of women. And we're talking, again, it's hundreds in there. Now, I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that, I've seen a lot of it. And in that, I can tell you, no form of sexuality, no form of sexual expression is better than the rest. They're all dependent upon you being you owning it, and they're absolutely dependent upon you being experienced. If you're some guy sitting around on the forums, get the fuck off, step your goddamn dick up, and man, know that your dick is not complete until it meets that pussy and makes that pussy fucking... It does what it does, man. Let nature take its course. There's so many people not doing that, man. It's a sad thing. Anyway, sex is beautiful. It's a great thing. Definitely check out the links below, which will take you to the website at The Sexual Life, where this video is hosted. Or if you want to find out about the Stitcher feed or the iTunes feed, definitely the most important thing here is get on our Austin Men's Development Board. And there should be, because this is the month of April, the text messaging guide to get sexual over text messages. This will change your shit up, man. It's badass. So we produce good stuff here, but it's good stuff so that you could join what we're doing and get into our conversation, live a great life, because everybody should be having good sex. Go fuck.